Well, okay then. Wow. Okie dokie. Well, that is something, ain't it? That is a little surprising. I was not expecting that. I was working on a video. I don't even have the right setup here. Let me actually get a better screen on here. Let's actually go over there. Okay. Well, there we go. Jeff Passan. Breaking news. Yankees are finalizing a trade to acquire closer Devin Williams from the Brewers. And we also got a little something else in this as well. We have Nestor Cortez heading back in this deal. So we're going to ramp up the trade machine here. We're going to get into it. And we're going to break this down here. Everyone, hello. How you doing? Welcome. Again, a surprise stream, an emergency stream here. But let's go ahead and break this down. I mean, my goodness, I'm not even ready for this at all. And wow. Okay. All right, here we go. So let's plug this in. Durbin is also going to the Brewers. Well, okay. Well, this is a big trade for the Yankees here. And, hey, for the Brewers, getting another guy for some depth in Nestor Cortez. I've been saying this from the get-go now for a little bit now. I don't know. I feel like I haven't really seen anyone else out there talking about a possible closer for the Yankees. Obviously Luke Weaver coming off a very strong run as the Yankee closer. But to me, yes, Clay Holmes, he lost the closer spot, but he was still a valuable arm in that bullpen. And I just thought, you know what? Hey, Luke Weaver, he went on a pretty magical run overall, But in the end, it's you want to get as much talent in that bullpen as you can. I saw the Yankees looking at Luke Weaver as a guy they can just put right back into the setup role, despite the good run that he went on. Obviously, the guy was dynamite down the stretch in the postseason as well. But the Yankees here, they got a legit guy with great stuff that they just slot right in there. Luke Weaver going to be a setup guy for them. I like this move a lot for the Yankees. Now, again, the other key part of this, Nestor Cortez is among the players heading back to the Brewers. We got Caleb Durbin going to the Brewers as well. So let's plug this in here. I think that's going to be pretty close for the most part. Let's see. I mean, yeah, this is going to be pretty close. The Brewers, they're getting a guy, Nestor Cortez. He has another year of control, but this is a guy that can go in their rotation. You never know what's going to happen with Brandon Woodruff coming back from shoulder surgery. I think this is a good move overall for both sides. Again, both guys coming up on free agency. For the Brewers, more so, they have to kind of get ahead of, these guys that are about to be hitting free agency. They did the same thing last year with Corbin Burns. They've done it in the past as well. It made a lot of sense for the Brewers to part with Devin Williams before they got to the season, especially with the injuries that he had this past season, had the back issue. So it makes a lot of sense for them to get as much value back as they can. Sure, could they have waited until the deadline to move him then? But you got to be thinking with the Brewers, man. They're a team that wants to compete every year. They want to get their roster set. And I guess even if you are competing, you could still move him at that point, right? You saw, what was going on with relievers at this past year's deadline, but, it kind of gets a little iffy at that time. Things are moving quick. And for the Brewers, they just want to get their roster set, in my opinion, and get back some value. But there's also another guy they got here. They got Durbin back in this deal. You got Caleb Durbin. So I believe he's in the top 30. I imagine. Durbin, is he in the top 30? Maybe not. I feel like I've seen his name somewhere before, but let's look him up here on good old Fangraphs. Let's go to Caleb Durbin, and let's get this one in here. Well, he was a higher draft pick. It was not a higher draft. He was a recent draft pick back in 2021. There's no prospect report on him, but this past year he did put up some pretty good numbers in AAA, hitting 287 with a 396 on base, a 471 on the slugging, a 129 WRC plus over 82 games with 10 homers. He's got some speed as well. Yeah. I mean, hey, that's a solid guy to get. For the Brewers, they like to get back these middle infield prospects. But hey, baseball trade values, they grade it as a moderate overpay. Either way, that is accepted by the model. And I think that's a pretty fair deal overall. The Brewers, they're getting another guy for the rotation here. But for the Yankees, I think this is a big win. Devin Williams, like I said, he did miss a lot of time this year with the back. But when he came back, this guy was dynamite. ERA at a 1.25, FIP at a 2.06 over the 22 games, over 15 strikeouts per nine. ERA and the FIP again, both extremely low. He's always walked guys. He really relies on that stuff. Guy has a nasty changeup overall, but the stuff gets him by, so the walks, not really a big deal. He also doesn't give up a lot of long balls, right? As you can see here, over the last 3 years, this guy has done a great job at keeping the ball in the yard. 0.3 home runs per nine in 22, 0.6, 23, and then 0.4 over the small sample size this year. This is a great guy to get for the Yankees. And again, taking a look at the bullpen here, let's see if Fangraphs has updated this. They're usually pretty quick. Maybe they did. Nope, hasn't not been updated yet. But, Luke Weaver, he's going to go right there into the setup role. Yes, Luke Weaver is going to go right into the setup role. Devin Williams right into the closer role. The Yankees, they're trying to rework this pitching staff, both in the rotation and in the bullpen as well. They just recently signed Max Fried. I mean, hey, losing Juan Soto, and you've bounced back here in a pretty decent way, right? Bringing in a really solid arm for the rotation and Max Fried, sure, long-term deal, quite a bit of money there, but in the end, that's a very good lift for the rotation there, and that gives them flexibility to maybe look at moving someone like Clark Schmidt or Luis Heel. I mean, that's a win-win right there, if you ask me. And then for the bullpen, adding a guy like Devin Williams, well, now, maybe they can even go out into free agency here and look to add, another setup guy to go alongside with Luke Weaver. Could they go after Tanner Scott? I feel like they need, especially now, you don't have any lefties in that bullpen. If Nestor Cortez was going to be the lefty in the bullpen, well, I mean, there goes that, right? But I didn't even think of Nestor Cortez as like a setup guy or anything. You need to go get a high leverage setup guy, in my opinion. I think Tanner Scott makes a lot of sense here. If they could go make a run at him, I mean, that's great. In fact, you obviously, you traded for Devin Williams, but this is a big win for the Yankees because you didn't really need Nestor Cortez. The Brewers needed him, so they were perfect trade partners in this scenario. This is a really good win for the Yankees. I guess I kind of like it for the Brewers. I mean, I don't hate it for the Brewers, but taking a look at Nestor Cortez this past year, he put up some pretty decent numbers overall. He was a workhorse guy. That's going to be a good lift for the Brewers. I like it for the Brewers. I felt like I sounded a little too negative there. I like it for the Brewers. I just like the pickup for the Yankees. Maybe it's because he's got that kind of star name to him, that star appeal a little bit. Nestor Cortez, I mean, he's a very solid pitcher in my opinion. But very good here. I like it. I like it for the Brewers. I like it for the Yankees. I don't really have any complaints, right? They're kind of filling needs. The Brewers, they're going to find guys that are going to slot into these roles. As of now, it looks like Trevor McGill is projected to be the closer. He had a pretty good year this past year. He was the closer. I like it. I like it overall. I mean, the Brewers, they develop pitching. They're going to be able to get some other guys coming up. But now you got Nestor in this spot. It kind of makes me wonder here what's going to happen with DL Hall. Is DL Hall going to be really just a bullpen guy at this point? I mean, we'll see. I mean, remember they got him back for Corbin Burns. Could DL Hall maybe potentially, if he is going to be in the bullpen, could he be a potential guy, like a high leverage guy at some point? Remember, he did pitch in the bullpen a little while ago when he was with the Orioles, and he did pitch well in that role. So maybe that could end up being a spot here for the Brewers. I like it for the Brewers. I just really like it for the Yankees, right? Because they added Devin Williams, and they got money to play with. They can go out there and get Tanner Scott, or even if they just wanted to go with a righty guy, all right, you can go look at someone like Jeff Hoffman, possibly. Kirby Yates, whatever it may be. The Yankees, they were ready to throw a ton of money at Juan Soto. I'm not saying they need to go out and spend all of that on, well, they're not going to, obviously, but, they could still spend a good amount of money here to make up for the loss of Juan Soto. So if we're to take a look at a couple other bullpen guys here that the Yankees could turn to, again, Tanner Scott is the guy. I wonder if they look to him, really give them some more velocity in that bullpen. Devin Williams, he's got some decent velo, but Tanner Scott, he's going to be pumping high 90s at you. I really like that if they could pick that up. Maybe they could go with someone like Carlos Estevez. But again, I do think the guy probably should be Tanner Scott. I don't think this bullpen is done for the Yankees. I know I'm seeing some Yankee fans here in the chat. I know we got Zach G in here. Who else? What Yankee fans, let me know. Do you think the bullpen's done? Are there any other relievers that you'd like to go after? I've said it like 18 times already, but I think Scott would be a great add if they could do that. I mean, that would be a shutdown bullpen. If you could get Devin Williams and Scott, oh, that would be fantastic. That would be great. I see Eli Duncan would love to have Scott. Yeah, I mean, they're making some moves here. They're making some moves. I see a couple of you saying, I'm seeing some of you saying Tim Hill. But yeah, Tim Hill, I mean, it's all right. Decent. But I don't know, man. I think they need a little bit more than that. I mean, the Yankees, listen, losing Soto is a big loss, man. That's a big loss. He was an 8 wins above replacement player. You've added a few more back with Max Fried. You added a little bit more with Devin Williams, right? So I'd say you're about halfway there, making it up for Juan Soto. I think you're close. Don't think you're quite there yet. I think another bat needs to get added here. Could that be Bregman? Could that be Santander, possibly? Could it be Teoscar? I think we got another Yankee fan here in the chat. Just, I don't know what's going on with him. He's just going woo woo in the chat. I don't know what's going on there. I think he's happy about the Yankees picking up Devin Williams. I think he can't stop going woo woo in the chat. But I like this a lot for the Yankees, man. This is a great pickup. Not really much else to say there. Look at that, Devin Williams right there at the back end. Love that. But they're not done.